meeting June 3rd, 2021. This is the Acushnet Planning Board. Is there a motion to open the meeting?
Make a motion, we open.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. With that, signing documents for the commercial development, 158 Main Street. We did not get anything in as of yet. I have one old copy of the plans, but they were gonna send us documentation, correct?
Yep, good work. You're supposed to get us a
Before I
package
forget-
that was ready to sign.
That's right. Before I forget, introduce yourselves, please,
Oh.
starting with Brian.
Brian Dishamps.
Rick Ellis?
Phil Mallow.
Mark Centerizio and Pat Hannon is on our back. We get him for, excuse me, special from the selectmen for 10 hours a week. Thank you, Pat, appreciate it. So, signing documents for the commercial development on the gas station. They were supposed to send us in documentation to sign. They didn't send them in, they were on vacation. So we will continue that till the next meeting. Speaking of that, the next meeting, you gentlemen have a date? I know we held this meeting early because Rick is heading out to the west coast on his motorcycle.
Hand it out.
You will be back September, October?
Yeah. Till I run out of money.
This is the third. We're definitely not going on the 4th. Is the week of the 4th bad, or we do planning board on the 15th? Is that good for you
I think
gentlemen?
the 15th is better.
Pat, is that okay with you? So our next meeting will be the 15th. We will continue the documents for the gas station commercial development for New England retail development when they send us the papers. Signature certificate of action, ground mounted solar, 52 Morris's Lane. How are we doing on that one, Pat?
That's all set to sign.
Okay, do we have papers here, or?
I had emailed them to you,
Uh-oh.
That's it?
so what I'll do is I'll print them out in the morning and I'll get them to you guys for signature.
Were they today? Did you email them today, or?
Yes.
Borrego Solar, Braden Smith. I apologize, I looked on my thing, I should have had them.
So we're all set with the amount of the,
Yeah, that I checked that out with Derek.
the decommissioning
And that's
costs are all
cool.
set on all of them?
That's all set on that one.
That one,
And
okay.
then I spoke to Brandon, and I had added some conditions about siltation and dust and other things to it. He accepted all of that.
Mhm.
He sent me an email, and he asked if he could not attend tonight just because it was just a formality to sign it.
Mhm.
So I have it backed up that they've accepted it.
Okay.
So we can sign those once we get the paperwork, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the address again?
52 Morris's Lane.
Okay, that's good enough. I make a
You got it.
motion, we accept the special conditions as written, and as emailed, for 52 Morris's Lane.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Moving right along, 251 Mendel Road needs owner's signature on certificate. We have everything.
You guys have already voted and signed it. The proponent has signed it, just the landowner hasn't signed it.
Okay,
So-
well, we've signed it, we've voted it.
You've already done that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So we don't have to do anything. If the landowner has to sign it and bring us back.
I'll
a
try and
certificate.
contact the landowner tomorrow when I'm in the office.
Great. Next one, signature certificate, 1447 Park Drive, that's continued. You talked to,
They have not reached agreement with SW Cole on their decommissioning costs. And they wanted to just put a placeholder in, and that really didn't work. Whatever they came up with for a number needed to be approved by SW Cole.
Yeah,
So that's been pushed off as well.
you want to speak on that, Ray? Is that why you're here tonight?
Yeah. Well, didn't get it to you, I guess. We're gonna have to wait, right? July 15th, you said?
Correct.
Yeah.
So then we can, we'll make number one, as we're doing these meetings now, for the 15th, we'll be signing the papers for the gas station. That's New England Development.
You accepted the plans on that Park Drive, or?
Everything was accepted, but they did not come up with a commissioning, decommissioning.
They don't agree. SW Cole doesn't agree with them. And he sent them a letter on the 18th to get back with more information, and they didn't do it. So, now they're gonna do it.
Okay. Well, we could always double whatever they gave us, or triple it.
If you want that, you can have a copy of it,
Yeah.
and you can talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing again is New England retail will be number one. Number two, 52 Morris's Lane.
It's all solar?
Yes. We don't have to do anything on 251 Mendel. The owner has to
We're all set on
sign it.
that.
That guy has to do it, that's all set.
I think the next one was Park Drive, actually, Mark.
Yeah. Right, Park Drive, so that'd be.
Morse's Lane is all set. You guys just voted.
Park Drive, we're all set with that.
10:52.
Continued, correct.
Yeah.
Next one is 1052 Main, that's continued. We need, they're still, I believe, coming up with,
SW Cole's really backed up.
and we apologize for that because this is like a 7th or 8th solar array.
Yeah, it would seem like even we
You're
should
up-
be able to have a per acre cost at this point, you know, I mean, there's been so many of them.
And speaking of that, maybe we should think about slowing these down a little bit for the next year. Maybe come up with a number of 4 a year or 5 a year. We're getting bombed, no disrespect to these solar guys, but they're coming out of the woodworks. It's just unbelievable. Lost our planner, lost our secretary, been trying to hold it together. We should have a new planner in the next week, I hope, and in 2 weeks we'll have a new secretary, so we'll get it. Pat is taking on everything on his shoulders for the agendas and the minutes and putting all this paperwork and everything together. I thank him for that very much. So continued will be 1052 Main Street, same thing, Cushing Lane. Are you guys here for Cushing?
We're,
Lane?
yeah,
here
we're,
for 1052.
we're here for 1052 Cushing and for,
That was actually closed.
yeah,
1052, we never came up with
Oh.
decommissioning fee.
we were never told what SW Cole wanted for it, so we didn't push back on it, we just were waiting for a number for about the last 3-4 months.
Pat, I mean, get in touch with SW Cole and see if we
I did.
He's
get some,
bombed.
get some
I'm
numbers
not-
out of them.
I actually spoke to Derek this morning and this afternoon, and you know, he just says he's buried and
Yep.
Yeah.
they haven't been able to do that.
Well,
I mean, what
I would
what might make some sense, I mean, every one of these solar array sites, I mean, they're gonna cost different, there's gonna be different costs to develop them, but to take the panels off, you know, and restore the ground, I mean,
Right.
there should be able to be a per acre. They should, I would request that SW Cole come up with a per acre cost for these decommissioning things, and that would eliminate a lot of this back and forth.
and just
time.
one question or thought or suggestion. I do know that there are at least a couple that the decommissioning costs had been agreed to in the past and that they were approved by SW. I don't know if that would tell you by megawatt or by acre, and we could adopt it, because I know that my clients have to, with all, as much as you guys are stuck on timelines, they have like to get the program with the credits from the state and the feds, you need to put it in time, and, you know, not, it's not your fault at all, I don't blame you, but we're also trying to be, you know, thoughtful of the people that I work for on it. And so we're willing to consider getting some kind of approval that adopts the rate that had been presented and approved by you before, either by megawatt or by,
Yeah,
by
I would
acre.
think by acres, because the megawatts will change from time to time, but an acre of panels should be the same cost to decommission an acre of panels
Let
on
me-
all the sites in Cushing.
let me ask that question tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um,
and that would save them some time too, because
might-
instead of having to go through each one of these things individually, you know, just do a good job on one, see how much it is per acre, and,
Yeah, but
I think it's different if they clear trees.
But that's the development. Once it's
Yep.
developed,
Yep.
all you've got is a
It's the same.
piece of
decommissioning
land
cost.
with a bunch of panels on it.
Take this-
And a control, you know, I mean, you've got a control, an inverter, you've got some controls. I mean, at the worst case, you might have a couple of telephone, utility poles to take down.
You might wanna consider, spreading some of this out to another engineer for some peer review.
I mean, open to suggestions, you know.
Absolutely, I think I have a name that you have.
We have a,
Is there, just, and I don't mean to be disrespectful on this, since this is really, it seems to me like a ministerial, in a sense, everything else is agreed to, it's just a number, and it's either gonna be
Correct.
50 grand or it's gonna be 200, it's gonna be some number. And you're gonna adopt largely what SW Cole accepts if, instead of waiting 6 or 8 more weeks for a meeting and then seeing if they give us the report, because I did call last week to say, hey, we have a meeting coming up next week, is there any chance you can do
Well,
it?
we jammed this meeting in too, so
No.
we could help people, and maybe I dropped the ball.
No, you
Okay?
didn't drop the ball. I'm
I'll
not blaming
take the
anybody
grief for it, but
But,
you just can't do it all, I mean,
I
no
get
it.
planner, no
We-
secretary.
We could do an approval subject to
that's,
a final
Decommissioning?
decommissioning cost. I think we could do
and
that.
if for some reason we hit a wall and we don't agree, then we'll come back to you in
Well-
July. if we
well,
can't-
actually, it says in the approval that you can't get your building permit until you've provided the bond, an acceptable bond. So as long as you
Fair.
vote to approve it, based on having an acceptable amount,
Yeah,
they're stopped on getting the building permit until we all agree, so.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
subject
see
to
any-
some difference,
Works,
though.
Pat.
Yeah.
Huh? No, we're not.
you know,
And it's not the
we
planning
know,
board.
we know DW White can take it off with his own equipment and bury it in the backyard. Cheaper than everybody else, but I don't know if we
Probably
can,
the most learned here on the subject.
he's my neighbor, right?
So with that, what are you suggesting, Pat, that we,
We approve it subject to them, providing the bond that's acceptable to
both parties?
both parties.
Okay, is that good
That,
for you, gentlemen?
that would be great.
Gentlemen on the
That's fine
board?
with me.
Anybody wanna make that motion?
Let's see, which one are we on now?
We were on,
1052 was the
1052?
first one.
1052.
I would make a motion that we accept the special conditions for 1052 Main Street with the proviso that a decommissioning cost is agreed to by both parties before any building permits are issued.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
uh,
Unanimous. Moving on now, you wanna back up to yours on Park Drive, we can do the same thing?
I
or is that
would, I would like to do the same thing
You
on
can.
all these if we can.
You might as well be consistent, so.
Absolutely, so if you wanna back up to 1447 Park Drive, same thing, you wanna make that same,
I'll do the same motion. I would make the motion that we accept the special conditions for 14-47 Park Drive, subject to a bond or a decommissioning cost that's acceptable to both parties.
and the only challenge I have with any of these is, any of these are on 61A or 61B, that's first right of refusal. I
That has
don't,
been going for 10 years.
say it again?
That was forestry, but I guess it's been let go, it was 10 years, we looked into it.
Okay, as long as you looked into it,
Yeah.
I just have.
Yeah, I called the
something
town
from you.
hall, cause I was like, I'm not sure, you know?
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's, some of the challenges of 61A, 61B, as long as I'll let you gentlemen know that from this point forward. Pat's trying to make up a whole review and documentation for the certificates to make it work so we can make it work, okay? So you guys are happy, we're all set? Guys on the board are happy, go ahead.
second the motion.
Second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, that'll take care of Park Drive, Woodbridge. We're up to Cushing Lane.
Actually, if we could take, how about 52 Morse's Lane?
You already voted it.
We're okay.
We did
Yeah.
that.
Okay, good. All right.
We're up to Cushing Lane.
Same story.
Same thing, we need,
I would make a motion that we accept the special conditions and project for the solar array off Cushing Lane, map 7, lot 26, subject to a decommissioning cost approved by both parties.
Second that.
And just so you know, they all have the same special conditions. they're all uniform among all of them.
31 conditions,
Okay.
correct?
Yes.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, we will continue that. You guys are making my job easy here tonight. Gamins Road, same thing, certificate of action approval. That one was I believe, a long time ago.
I drafted it though over the weekend, it's all set. So same story.
Same theory, decommissioning.
Yep.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept and approve with the special conditions, subject to a decommissioning cost acceptable to both parties.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. This is going too good. 540 Main Street, they're gonna continue on till next month, is that correct?
Yep.
We will make that on number 4.
Well, it'll be number 2 now,
We're moving up, we can just keep on.
because you knocked off all the solar.
I'm going away tomorrow, so my head isn't here. You just tell me what to do.
I'm here for another 10
I'll-
minutes. So that's gonna be number 2.
540, no problem. Public hearing for Robinson Road, that's continued also?
Nope.
Oh,
Nope, he's here.
gentlemen, okay. You have the easel over there, go right ahead, gentlemen.
I just know that Derek hasn't finished that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, this was,
We got a letter today, I think, Pat.
He did get it out,
Yeah.
he didn't send it to me.
You want me to email it to you right now?
Yeah.
We're good.
This is the hearing.
Just
was open.
introduce yourself,
Yep.
sir.
John Connell, SciTech Engineering in Dartmouth.
Thank you.
This is the plan we had submitted last time with a few changes that you guys had requested. One being the larger radius here around the panels. And then we addressed the comments from SW Cole. Their engineer Roger Poisson had sent a review letter stating that we had addressed those concerns. So, if you have any questions on it, I'm happy to try to answer those for you.
I think the only challenge is you took care of it, the police chief wants a 14-foot gravel thing all around the whole interior of the.
Fire chief,
array.
yeah.
Fire chief, yeah.
14-foot file lane. I know the radius was a concern here
Yeah,
last
that
time.
looks
we
much
were
better
over.
now.
Yeah, it looks like they can actually make the turn out, getting much
We
good.
had submitted a detail as well. We
Yeah.
wanted a file lane at the last meeting.
Okay.
Now, this one too, is any of this in chapter 61A or 61B?
This actually is in chapter 61A.
This is in chapter.
Yes.
I have to get, some kind of, there's some documentation, I don't know if I talked to you, Pat, from the assessors, that you have to,
Yep.
That's
first
correct.
right of refusal,
The town has the first right of refusal,
correct?
to buy it. We propose to pay back taxes and generate and calculate that amount and so forth. And I think then you vote whether you are looking to acquire the property or not.
Yep,
And then-
we don't want it. You guys wanna buy it? Huh? You get money in your back pocket?
And I think you go to selectmen at the end.
Usually it's the selectmen or conservation,
Right,
if anybody wants,
so there's some paperwork that goes along with all that process as well. At the end of the day, we need something in the record.
Okay.
Does that go
I
to
just
the
want-
woods or just the field?
All open field.
Yeah. Going with the fields.
Mark, I'll close that loop next week.
Okay, you take care of that?
Yep.
Fine.
Yep.
Is that okay with you gentlemen? You will be in contact with Pat?
That we direct all paperwork through you first.
If you would, that'd be
Okay,
great.
Absolutely.
Okay?
And there is no decommissioning number in this, and maybe that's what Derek was.
Right, but the other two were asking for the number 2, so that's why we were just not sure.
Yeah.
We were pleased that that got all of the engineering
Yeah.
aspects were all satisfied, so.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just out of curiosity, what kind of voltages are running through or will run out to the inverter? You know, and what kind of voltages will ultimately go into the grid? I'm just out of curiosity.
It generates a megawatt of power.
Yeah, but you gotta feed it into the grid that, you know, the proper cycles and the
Yeah,
proper voltage.
I don't know the voltage numbers, I'd be guessing.
Don't touch it with two fingers.
No, I just, I mean, that's probably why theirs is required to be a fence around the whole thing, but.
Is it enough for 100 homes, roughly, to give you a magnitude of what's
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, I could,
Just this one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a megawatt does that.
1 megawatt gives, feeds, what,
Roughly 100. Depends on the houses, right? Average
Yeah.
house,
yeah.
175 to 100.
Now, I know the building inspector had questions on telephone poles, I don't know if it's mandatory to put it underground there's a special battery box now, or a battery array you have to put on all
Backup
these.
storage.
So with backup storage, is that something new within the last year or two, or?
In the last few years, most projects bringing forward the modules for solar and the battery storage.
Yeah.
It's contained, all self-contained on a pad.
Yep.
And again, that provides extra measure of safety for the power stored, and it feeds the grid, so it's an
Yep.
extra element that the grid wants, because it feeds off peak, basically. So it works.
How hard is it to put all this underground instead of using telephone poles? Just a question, I don't have an answer.
No, actually, the utility company and our company prefers the poles, because all the equipment gets mounted up high.
Okay.
It's standard equipment, it's easily replaced versus pad mounts. It's high, it's away from water, ponding, people trying to damage it and so forth when it's at the ground, it's subject to vandalism and so forth, so it's a much safer type of presentation, just like the utility poles.
Just, he was asking, I told him I'd ask you guys. So on this one, we have to check for 61A and B, make sure first right of refusal.
And then I'll put in the same language that you'll approve it, and they won't get a building permit until you have a number that you all agree on. Just so they don't get held up on that. Because we can probably resolve.
Anybody from the public here like to speak on this, pro or con? No? Everybody's happy, keep on moving. With that, go ahead, you're
I
gonna.
mean, I was just gonna say, can we just do an approval on our standard conditions, subject to 61A
And,
and the decommissioning costs?
we
I
can
mean,
do
just to
that,
get,
keep it moving, get them out of the way.
yeah, I mean,
We
if
know
that's
it's been a
it,
long time.
if those are
we
the
apologize.
only issues, then, you know,
Yep.
I would be ready to move on it right now.
Go for it, make that motion.
Okay, let's see. I would make a motion that we approve with our standard special conditions, subject to chapter 61A requirements being met, and subject to a decommissioning cost acceptable to both parties, being made for the solar array at 540 Main Street. No, sorry, Robinson Road.
Robinson Road.
Installation at Robinson Road, map 7, lot 7, Robinson Road Solar LLC.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thank you guys, sorry for the delays, but we're getting there.
Thank you
By
very, very
next
much.
year, we'll have this whole thing all down back.
And then there won't be any more proposals, and all the state and federal funding will fly out.
Just a quick, when would I see conditions of approval? I mean, you have to produce them, and you
I
have
have
to sign them,
Yeah. I'll send you somebody else's,
Right
tomorrow.
back.
so I can see the standard.
Yeah, you have a card?
134 miles.
You have a card I can get your contact?
Yeah.
Still 80 miles an hour.
Gentlemen, all set with that?
Yeah, we're,
Okay.
so thank you very, very much for your time.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Discussion, roadway improvements,
Have a great night.
stormwater Morton Lane, Zenith Engineering, guys in?
Nothing up for you now.
No, thank you. So you gonna take you out for an ice cream, Jim?
Now I can. I was gonna bring it for a hot dog.
Take care, Jim.
Hey, have a good night. Catch you
Very
later.
good, Ray.
Leave them, guys.
Nice to meet in person, huh, Jamie?
It's been a long time. I had to track down my presentation board and it wasn't easy. How's everybody been?
We're here.
That's a good thing. If I may.
No, introduce yourself.
All right, good
Let me
evening,
just
Jamie Bissonette.
get these guys to quiet down over here, no problem, thank you.
Tonight, we have, the roadway improvement plan for Morton Lane, and we met, I believe, twice with the board unofficially, to discuss this proposal. I believe at the last time that we met, there was a recommendation to, speak with the, fire department and also to speak with DPW. We've done both. I believe they've both issued letters.
I believe you gentlemen have one of those letters in your files as far as from the, Public Works. I know I talked to the chief today, I don't know, I didn't get an email, but did you get an email from the chief?
Yes, I did, yep,
Okay,
and I can forward that to you.
forward that to Pat.
Absolutely. I'll do that right now.
Might be the last thing. If you want me to read that one from Public Works into the minutes, Jamie?
Yes, please.
To the planning board, May 24th.
I have the fire chief's email.
Good, yep.
You all set with that? Okay.
Yep.
May 24th, 2021, Morton Lane Extension from the Department of Public Works. Dan Bernard, DPW Director, has reviewed and approved the engineered plans for Zenith Consulting for the extension of Morton Lane with the stipulation of installing a blow-off valve at the end of the water main. The water main must be installed by a town of Acushnet licensed drain layer. In addition to inspections on the roadway, subgrade, base, and asphalt, binder and top coat must be inspected by the Department of Public Works. Sincerely, Dan Menard, DPW Director.
And then, if I may, the fire chief wrote, "Thank you for providing me with the updated plans for the improvement of Morton Lane. Based on our conversation today, I understand that all planning board items have been addressed. I appreciate the addition of the emergency vehicle turnaround. My concerns have been addressed. I wish you well." Kevin Gallagher, Fire Chief. So in this proposal, and like we had said before, we're handling, the runoff from the road. The road's pitching in a southerly direction. We're picking it up along the side, going through a couple of sediment forebays and into a drainage basin. That does handle the 100-year storm. Right now, there is no drainage for anything on the road. We're trying to maximize infiltration through roof drains, which is clean water runoff. The roadway itself, we're proposing it to be at about 1%. That's pretty much the existing grade of the road as is. That's really about it. This is a pretty simple roadway improvement, and so happy to try to address any concerns or questions the board may have.
Billy, did the zoning enforcement officer or the building inspector have anything to say? You
He
wanted to add a little more down the road?
So the zoning enforcement officer, we sent the plans over to him, and he made two points. He said that the planning board may want to consider in the future what is going to happen further down. And number two was, he would also recommend additional pavement in front of the lot itself. I did talk to him. He said ultimately it's the board's decision, but he didn't feel that it was fair for the next person to have to pick up in front of that house and continue it. Explained to him, it's been the board's policy was we're picking up in front of the last house that was built.
Correct,
Taking it
that's
to
right.
us.
No, it's there too.
Exactly, I mean,
Right.
that, the intent has been to make each person pay for about 150 feet of roadway, and that's what this did. I mean, if we had started from day one, you know,
It'd be different, yeah.
yeah, it would be different, but unfortunately, that's the situation that we've got.
Okay. And I believe those were his two items that he
Right.
pointed out.
Just wanted to clarify
I
it.
mean, actually, I mean, there are a lot of houses out there, not just on this road, but in other spots in Acushnet, where it's just basically a dirt path out to the houses, and they got their building permits right, wrong, or indifferent, so this seemed to be, to me, about the fairest way to do it, is you want another lot, you put in 150 feet of road. And likewise, if somebody else comes along further down, well, then they'll need to put in another section of road.
That sounds good to us.
Any other questions, gentlemen? Anybody from the public wanna say anything? Everybody's happy? Pat, you all set with this? Is there a motion?
Yeah, I would make a motion that we approve the improvements shown on the plan provided by ZCE. I can't read the date and
It's, 5/25/2021.
the latest revision 5/25/2021, right?
Yes, sir.
Got the year right anyway.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
And also for the stormwater regulation as well, we applied for the stormwater permit.
That's a different subject,
Gotcha, okay.
okay? Are we taking that up later, or?
Did you submit a stormwater plan yet?
Yes, we did,
It has to go to SW Cole to be peer reviewed.
okay. All right,
Once that's all done,
okay,
we'll take care of that.
okay.
And speaking of, SW Cole, they've been doing a good job, but maybe, I don't know if anybody wants to look for another engineer. I know it's been inundated with solar arrays and stuff, but I think, go ahead.
We have a peer review we're working with from the Board of Health on Keating.
Yeah,
And I asked them today if they do peer review and solar and all the things, and they do. So if you're interested in using Conoco, we could just turf Jamie to them. And he could call them and he could get his stormwater plan reviewed and you'd be on the way.
it's you, if you deal with them, you pay them, we don't wanna go through any money exchanges, you take care of that, if that's okay with the gentleman on the board,
Yeah, that's fine with me.
okay? I know Derek does a good job, but he's inundated, I mean, he's just bombed with all this stuff.
Mhm.
Hopefully it'll slow down, but I don't think so.
Do you mind if I reach out to Derek first? I've had a relationship with Derek for years, so I
Sure.
know what he is looking
Yeah.
for.
Okay, as long as you don't want this yesterday.
Well, I'm gonna ask him his time frame, obviously.
He's bombed with us, I'm just,
Yep.
you know him, you wanna deal with him, that's fine.
Appreciate that.
In the future, we can go with this other company, what's the name of it?
Conoco Engineers.
Okay, that's fine,
Yeah, well, I'm gonna reach out to both and see what suits my client's needs.
okay,
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it.
no problem.
All right, you guys have a great night.
You too,
The selectmen have a contract with them too, Mark.
you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, how with this, the stormwater permit thing is of course new to everybody in town. How is that gonna work in terms of payment to peer review?
You'll be approving that regulation at the end of this meeting.
What does it say in terms of?
It's another, mandate by EPA to.
No, I understand, I understand what it is.
But this time it has permit fees,
Mhm,
inspection fees, enforcement fees.
mhm.
It's all in the regulation, and it's supposed to go into a revolving account in the name of the Stormwater Board.
Mhm.
And the Stormwater Board has the right to use that money without having to go through town meeting or any of that stuff.
And we are the stormwater board.
Yes, and it can be used in association with the expenses
Mhm.
of the Stormwater Board, stormwater agent,
Mhm.
all of those things.
So what happens on the first one?
What happens on
In
the
terms
first
of
one?
fees, there's no money in the kitty yet.
No, they'll pay a fee to get their permit,
Okay.
and then they'll know what their inspection fee is. And if there's a violation, they'll find out what that fee is after that. And that's the way it goes.
Okay.
Is that
something you can email me
tomorrow? If they
Yeah,
vote on it?
if they approve it tonight,
Excellent.
yeah,
All right, thank you, really appreciate it.
no
Okay.
problem.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, good.
Have a good night.
We can approve it somehow.
Yeah, there'll be a letter sent to, is it to the clerk for the approval on this?
I don't have an answer for you. For this one, yes, we'll have to send a certificate of action.
Yep. That'll be signed at the next meeting, most likely.
More than likely, that will be July 15th.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks again.
We'll put you on as number
3.
3.
All right, 15th, I'll be back.
You doing?
Hey, John. Do you need me to stick around? No, thanks. All right, have a good night. Take care, Ben.
What are we up to? 13 Jean Street, two-lot subdivision A and R, Zenith Consulting. Is this Zenith Consulting or is this Mr.
This
Romanelli?
is Zenith Land Surveyors, not to be confused.
Thanks, John.
I'll turn this around so the TV camera can catch a look at that. First of all, let me say, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Live. Did Pamela want to give you my copies and Mylar and all that stuff? Okay, because I don't know if you want to hand them out. I think it's pretty self-explanatory here. We'll go over this real quick. For the record, my name is John Romanelli, Zenith Land Surveyors, in Bedford, Mass. My client Ben Reese, who's here tonight, recently purchased a house at 13 G Street. The existing property does have 200 feet of frontage, and it has over 28,000 square feet of area. So what we're doing here, I kind of highlighted the perimeter in yellow, pink line subdividing it right down the middle, basically, giving it 100 feet of frontage on each lot. I am showing the new 90-foot diameter upland circle that Jim Merritt brought to the town meeting last month. I don't think it's officially in the record books yet, but I figured we'd start showing that. Basically what it means is that 90% of your frontage, which is 90 feet, has to touch the frontage, and it has to be all upland in that circle, so we conform to that. The only thing, the backyard of this existing house is 2.4 feet, that's a pre-existing non-conforming rear yard setback. But we do meet every other setback. I've got 10.8 feet on the easterly side, 108 feet out to the street, 52.4 to the westerly line. And those who don't really know where this lot is, it's very close to the Acushnet River, it's right down here. This is a vacant parking lot. And this is the abutting lot right next door to that. So basically what we're doing is cutting it into two lots. They both have 100 feet of frontage. The existing lot is gonna have 14,623 square feet. The new lot's gonna have 13,839 square feet. Pretty straightforward.
You said River Street, not the Acushnet River, right?
It's close to the Acushnet River though. Right on the other side of that river street is the river.
Yeah.
It's on the downhill side of, almost at the end of Jean Street. In fact, it is the last house on Jean Street. Okay, we did tie everything. I like to show the 250 CMR regulations, 3 physical monuments out there. There's actually a concrete found at the left front corner of the existing lot. There's a couple of points up the street that we found. Tied down nicely.
I take it there's water and sewer for both these
Yes.
lots?
You'll see a hydrant right at the right front corner, with the water gate in front of it, and the sewer manhole right in front of that. So there is, yes, sewer and water available.
And this is the building inspector's new circle here, for, he wanted 90%.
90% of the frontage,
Yep.
upland circle, yes.
That looks like it meets every requirement for an A and R. Make a motion.
Another go at it, Ben?
Another go at it. I'm on vacation from law school for the summer. I'll get in trouble if I don't do something. I gotta keep moving.
I would make a motion, we approve the plan as submitted.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. With that, is it Mylar?
I'm gonna promise there's no more wetlands on any more of these small lots in the village district, right?
So I'm not sure I entirely understand. Is it 90% has to be uplands, or has to be a
No,
90-foot
90% of
diameter
90% of the
circle?
front.
90% of the required
90% of the
frontage.
frontage. Okay.
With that. Form A filled out and stamped by the town clerk, yes. Designer certificate. Yes.
No, you won't.
OMA submission
Thank
checked out and filled, yes. Copy of a non-refundable.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that with a regular pen.
Stole my pen?
I might have. It wouldn't be the first thing I stole in my life.
Correct, yes. Received 10 copies. Yes. Submission accepted.
Do we have all those copies? We have to sign on 10, don't we?
Yes. You got the Mylar there, right?
Right,
Mylar's-
Mylar's right here, already signed.
Time to put the AC back in.
Or open the window all the way.
Just glad to be back in person.
Yes, we Here's the rest of those, I'm sorry. As always, when you put the registry deeds, if you'd be kind enough to call us with the book and the page, so we can put it in our files.
I will do. Is that something I can email to Pam in the time being, or?
Pat,
Okay. Gotta get your email.
I will write it down for you.
Do me a favor, I'll give you a card, you can shoot me an email,
Yeah, even better.
and I'll just, when I get it recorded, I'll send it along.
So now you have to get the other house built before your property taxes go up.
Property taxes are gonna go up?
Well, it's 2 lots now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just an oversized yard anymore.
It's 2 house lots, so it'll be more.
Yeah, this is-
You're still real busy, John?
Unbelievable. That water was not, I'm taking 65 to 95 phone calls a day.
I mean, 30 of them are me's. You
What?
have that plan yet? Are we still on for Thursday? Do you know what time? Are we in person on Zoom?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what he needs to say, hey, you know, I spent 2 hours on phone calls with you. Without these phone calls, it would have been done already.
okay, this is too good to be true.
Is there anybody here for that informational presentation on the solar array?
Actually, that has been kicked because they didn't have the full rotor on their array,
Okay.
and they had not done the stormwater report,
Okay.
so they've pushed to the next meeting.
Continued.
Yeah.
How many of these are there?
Should be 9. I got 2 here.
Gentlemen, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Nice to see everybody.
Take it easy,
Good
Ben.
luck,
Take care.
guys.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
With that, we'll continue on with 0 and 165 Nice Lane. That has been continued, is that correct?
See you next meeting, yep.
Next
It's
meeting,
just an informational
number 4.
presentation anyways.
0 and 165.
A couple more pages of them, huh?
Those are all done.
They done?
Yep.
Done. I like that.
I had one old business, letter to the Board of Selectmen, first right of refusal on 329 Middle Road. This was like last September we signed it. You're gonna take care of that?
I'm gonna
Pat?
follow up on that tomorrow, yep.
Yep, give me an email and just tell them that that's all set, ready
Yeah.
to go.
We did the comparison on that Mylar. Remember,
Yeah,
we
we did.
matched up, that was all set.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
overlaid one over the other. And it was identical.
And now we have to go out of this meeting into the stormwater meeting, or you wanna finish up with everything here and do the stormwater meeting?
You could finish this and then, and adjourn, and just say you're going into the stormwater meeting.
Okay. Any new business? No, nothing? Minutes for May 10th, 2021. I don't know if you gentlemen had the opportunity to read it.
Motion to approve them as.
Seconded.
Let me get it.
And this one?
Which one do we do first, May 10th?
We do just for approval?
Dated it, I didn't sign it.
Say it again.
What's
We
that?
do just for
I
approval.
dated it, I didn't sign it.
Yep. Just one of them, right, man?
Yeah, just that one, I think that's the only one I saw. You go through this,
Record and play, I think, right?
right?
Also, fantastic. Where were we? Minutes for May 10th, 2021. Was there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Minutes of May 20th, 2021.
Motion.
Is there a second?
We did 10th, then we did the 20th.
Yep.
We did both of them, right?
I did the 10th first, this is the 20th,
Okay.
okay?
Motion to approve minutes of May 20th.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. With that, mail, I had mail here somewhere.
When do you think it'll be taken out?
We had 3 applications for a new secretarial thing, if you could drop those off down below tomorrow, I'll give you them.
Compliance thing with,
And I had one here for South Coast Media Group
report.
for
to be done.
$1,743, I'll have to find out what that
I
is.
did
Just
what was
remind me when I come
required
back
on
from
18th.
vacation, I'll look at it.
Yep.
Unless
Still
you wanna
waiting
take a look
for-
at it.
The final analysis
I don't
report.
know.
If you wanna leave it on the table, I'll
Have to buy some.
I'll put that
stick my
one
nose
in.
in it.
And the rest are all
I gotta
public
wait till
hearings
it
from
comes
different
in.
towns.
Yeah. No kidding.
With that, is there a motion to, what are we going out?
Motion to adjourn the regular
Planning
meeting
board meeting, yeah.
and move to a special meeting for the stormwater regulations.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? With that, we'll hand the table over to you, Pat. This is a special stormwater.
So, well, it's a scheduled, it's on the agenda, so you're opening a meeting for the stormwater board.
Yep.
And this is to approve updated stormwater regulation to comply with EPA's June 31st deadline of 2021. And I have a quick recap. So this revision establishes permit procedures for a land disturbance approval review for 5,000 square feet to a half an acre. And then it breaks it off to standards and land disturbance permit for anything greater than a half an acre. Prior to that, you had to get a stormwater permit for 5,000 square feet and up. It was
Right.
crazy. And if you did your driveway, you were gonna have to get a stormwater permit. So, that got changed. And then, it establishes permit and enforcement fees, and something we learned with the quarry is the town spends a lot of money going out on enforcement, and there's no way to get any of that back. So if you have repeat offenders, now there's an opportunity to actually assess a fee for going out for enforcement. And that'd be you'll determine what that is. Then, on the large stuff, it provides land disturbance inspection procedures and enforcement. And you would get paid for going out and doing inspections. because it turns out to be a lot of inspections for that. I spend 19 hours a week at the Board of Health doing those inspections,
Wow.
and that's, that's $30,000 a year. So,
Mhm.
the taxpayers don't wanna pay that bill. Then it includes operation and maintenance requirements for stormwater system components, and specifically their BMPs. It really holds a tight rein on them that they maintain all of that and that they really do it. And then it provides tree protection language and some requirements. So your site plan approval right now requires that they identify trees with a 6-inch caliper or larger, but it doesn't say what you do once they identify them. So this tightens that up as far as their drainage stuff goes. And then it gives detailed standards for new development projects versus redevelopment. So redevelopment's being carved out of the stormwater requirements on some of this. It's strictly for new development that they're looking at.
Okay.
And to go with that, there is a new bylaw that goes hand in hand with this regulation. There wasn't time to adopt the new model bylaw before Springtown meeting, so we amended it at town meeting. And at fall town meeting, we'll adopt the stormwater bylaw that goes with this full boat. And everything will mesh, all your standards, all your descriptions, all of that will mesh through all of that. Board of Health recently passed a earth removal permit of its own regulation that deals with air pollution and some other things. All those definitions, everything's tied together now, and they're the same. And I did the same with the certificates of action. I tied all of those into your stormwater regulation and all of that. And that basically brings us into compliance with our MS4 permit for EPA, and we won't get a $100,000 penalty in June.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to accept, what do we call it now?
Stormwater regulation.
Is there a motion to accept the stormwater regulation?
Motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Now, I take it that,
We are the stormwater board.
yeah, that, unfortunately. Now, what's the process? Like everything else, I'm sure there's going to be a learning process for both parties with this new regulation. What is the method to change, approve,
Same as your stormwater permit for your solar fields and stuff, it's the same approval process.
Mhm,
They'll submit a stormwater plan to you as the stormwater board
mhm.
via the planning board. It'll be peer reviewed,
Yeah.
recommendations made.
In terms of the performance standards for them, is that locked into the regulations right now?
Yes, and it's a little tighter on total suspended solids. This was actually done by Conoco. Conoco does MS4 for 7 towns.
Mhm.
And it was actually them that read our regulations to apply it down the road and said, you're 5 years behind on your stormwater regulation.
Mhm.
You need to upgrade it by June 31st. So,
If not, there's a penalty, correct?
25 to 100,000.
Yep.
So I'm gonna look to them for what the permit really looks like,
Mhm.
and then come back to you guys and we can work that out.
Sounds good.
So
That's
we're
it.
all set, we had a,
So you need to adjourn.
Are we gonna end up having to do one of these for every new house lot
No.
that gets developed?
Well, a limited one for every new house lot that gets developed, yes.
Make a motion, we adjourn from the Stormwater Review Board meeting.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's it, we're done.
That's it.
We're done for the night. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.